things just align and things just happen. Somewhere in our planning, we decided to visit Salem. And so we did. We hopped on a train and traveled to what they call the Witch City.
Ito. Ooh.
There were not much tourists when we visited. It was just chill going there. After a half an hour train ride from Boston, we've now arrived at the Witch City. At first glance, you might think of Hocus Pocus, quirky witch shops, and spooky souvenir shops. But I have to admit, there's a certain thrill in seeing those iconic filming spots, especially if you're fond of the movie. But beneath all that playful Halloween witchy vibe lies a darker history, one that can't be ignored. It's hard not to think about what happened here back in the late 1600s. It's wild to imagine, a time when so many innocent people were accused of witchcraft. Trials, imprisonment, even executions. All driven by fear and suspicion, not real evidence, an example of a mass hysteria. And as we wander these streets, there's this strange energy. On the surface, Salem feels so bright and fun now, playful even. But underneath all that, you can still feel the weight of its history. It's a lot to take in, but it's also what makes this place so unique. On a lighter note, we strolled around and decided to try this cutesy little coffee shop we stumbled upon here. Then we had an aura reading. Now, whether you believe in it or not, it's an interesting way to look inward. So they use a special camera to capture what some believe is your energy field, shown as glowing colors around you. The colors are thought to represent your emotional and spiritual state.
I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna quickly change the film. So leave you for a moment. It's just energy. It's not gonna tell you you're a bad person. Or,
Yeah.
but I get it, it can feel like vulnerable, you know.
Having someone interpret your energy can spark unexpected reflections. Sometimes, it's those small, curious activities that leave a lasting impression, reminding us to stay open to different perspectives.
Oh, interesting. This is actually a really cool period for you to be doing this. Check it out though, you're like very right about your energy.
What does that mean?
I'll talk about it, but a lot of like yellow of the sacral, I really want to talk about the green energy, which is very specific. I really read it as like the energy of growth, which is really cool. Ooh. So that, you know, on both sides of the body, you'll see this beautiful like yellow. A lot of times the colors like feel exactly what they look like. So this is the sun. This is like confidence, optimism. This is the will center to like moving and shaking. Like I can will things forward. That's the person that can take care of things. And it feels like energizing to be around. You know, this is not like a oh, I feel so chill around you. This is like it like ups people's moods. It like gets people moving. That person's in charge of stuff. That's the person everybody looks at to like take care of things. You can do a lot with this energy in the world, you know? It's a power. I mean, this is a power aura for sure. And then you see this little color around the head. That's called Dusty Rose. And I've gone through periods of this. It usually shows up when there's some kind of growth energy. Because it is this kind of like sorting through options, possibilities. Like I'm thinking through things. Like I don't know the path. It's not 100% clear. And I think whenever we start to kind of shift and change, like options that maybe we haven't thought about. Like your energy is very similar to the energy together. It's different than you though, but check it out.
Oh my god.
Like look at all this red. Do you see how it? So it's a you know, it's not the exact same, but do you see how it's this combination? Like you're this combination of red of the root and this purple magenta of the third eye, and then together it's red of the root and then purple of the third eye. Isn't that interesting?
It's so interesting.
So the question is, like, are you reflecting your relational energy together, or are you kind of taking on like your aura when you're together? Well, it's interesting because you were kind of guessing that maybe you were like a blue or like, which tend to be a little bit more like, some people are very reflective, some people are like mirrors, and they just kind of take on the energies around them, and they just kind of match. So this is, I was talking about red, which is associated with like root energy, which is kind of different than it's a physical energy. Red of the root, like the root is all about kind of grounding, kind of moving things forward on earth. It's like body energy. So when we're kind of running out of the root, a lot of times we're like working in the physical body, and we're like moving things forward in the physical world. So if you think about like ways of knowing, right? Everybody is intuitive, I think everyone's psychic, but this is a lot of like body knowing. Like I know in a very bodily way, like my body tells me this is right, my body tells me this isn't right. That is the thing when we have a lot of physical energy, like it's like you have to use it. It's like, use me, make me into something, like do a project, use my body, like all this like magenta energy, that is third eye energy. And it's like really unique third eye energy. The third eye is what we have dreams out of. Like you have this together, but it's a different quality to it. Like anytime we dream or imagine, if I can visualize something that doesn't exist right in front of me, I'm using my third eye. And so being able to kind of access to that being able to see possibilities and kind of invent things in our heads before they become real, and then actually having enough physical energy to bring it down is very powerful. It's interesting, lots of creatives, but I also see like people, it's open conceptual thinking, you know what I mean? Very balanced, you know, being able to kind of access all these ways of kind of understanding and knowing, and you can really create a lot with this energy. So really cool.
Thank you. This is so accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, and then together, and you can see this, like you have the same balance, but it's different qualities to the colors, right? So this red is that ability to kind of like move things forward together. We have that physical energy together, but this is a very kind of like grounded, like building structures. But you also have like, you can see how all the purple is showing up, which is really cool. Like this is a totally different energy. Yeah, very different. Imaginary, that visioning together, like I always think of like, you know how kids like imagine together. This is a little bit more like in the etheric realms, you know, so and you can see the kind of shared mental space together, which, you know, some people have it very separate, you know, where you really see the kind of separation above the head, where like that's yours, that's yours, but you have this kind of shared mental space where when we're together, we kind of are on the same mental vibe, right? We like our energy together. So yeah, really cool to see, and this is a really kind of interesting.
So there you have it, our time in Salem. It's more than just Halloween decorations and witchy vibes. It's a place that encourages you to have fun and still honor the past. And honestly, that's the kind of trip worth taking. One that reminds you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep your sense of wonder alive.